Fazza's most protected secret, a 60-year-old woman. He couldn't forget. Poetry, English poetry. A story moves through the quiet corners of the palace. A whisper carried by the wind across the old marble halls. A memory that refuses to fade. A name that the guards never say aloud. For there lived a woman 60 years in her walk of life. Yet her presence glowed brighter than the young. Her steps calm, her eyes deep like desert wells. And Fazza, the prince who saw the world from the tallest towers, carried her shadow inside him like a secret flame. They say he loved horses and oceans and wide skies. But before all of that, he loved her wisdom. For she spoke in ways that melted walls. She touched his thoughts without touching his hands. She entered his silence and sat there like a companion. No one understood how a prince found home in an older soul. But age was never a barrier for hearts that recognize each other. He found in her the truth he searched for. He found in her the stillness he never knew. Every night he returned to the memories. Of her laughter soft like moonlit dunes. Of her stories woven from long years. She carried storms in her chest, yet walked gently. She carried scars, yet smiled with grace. And he admired her not for beauty alone, but for the strength hidden under her quiet breath. He kept her name safe, protected like a treasure buried under royal floors. A secret only the moon could read. When the world spoke of youth, he thought of her. When they brought him silk, he remembered her hands. Hands that once held pain. Hands that once built hope. He remembered how she told him that a heart is not young or old. A heart only knows its own echo. And in her echo he found himself. She walked into his life with no crown. Yet she ruled his thoughts with kindness. She asked for nothing. Yet she gave him everything. A path to understand love beyond desire. A road that led him to patience. A mirror that reflected the man he could become. In the late afternoons, he would sit alone, watching the desert swallow the sun. And he knew that somewhere in that golden light lived the memory of her gentle voice. A reminder of who he was. A reminder of who he wished to be. The palace guards whispered. The world outside speculated. But no one ever saw what he saw in her. No one ever felt the calm she offered him. She was 60. She was a lifetime. She was the steady rhythm in the storm of his royal days. And he could not forget her. Some said she saved him. Some said she changed him. Some said she taught him how to breathe softer. But the truth was simpler. She made him feel human. Away from titles, away from gold, away from expectations. In her presence, he was just a man. A wandering heart finally resting. He kept her memory alive. Not in letters, not in photographs, but in the quiet choices he made. In the gentleness he carried. In the mercy he showed others. For everything she gave him shaped him. Every word became a seed. Every silence became a lesson. He protected her story. He guarded it inside his chest. And though she walked far, the story continued beyond what the palace believed, beyond what the silent corridors carried in their guarded air. For the memory of the 60-year-old woman did not fade. It grew inside Fazza like a second heartbeat, a steady reminder of the path she once guided him through. He walked through the royal gardens each dawn, feeling the same softness she once taught him to notice. The softness in petals, the softness in wind, the softness in people who carried heavy worlds inside them. She had told him that gentleness was not weakness. That gentleness was strength wrapped in quiet courage. And those words shaped every choice he made. The world saw a prince, a poet, a leader, a dreamer. But she had seen the boy beneath all titles. The boy who wanted to fly beyond the golden gates. The boy who wanted to write his own destiny. And she had whispered that his dreams mattered, even when surrounded by 1,000 expectations. He remembered how they walked by the sea. She listened more than she spoke. She understood him in ways no one else dared. She asked nothing from him, yet gave him freedom. She showed him that love did not always need possession, that some connections exist to awaken the soul, not to bind it. And in that awakening he found truth. Her presence followed him even years after she disappeared. When he faced crowds, he felt her calm in his breath. When he felt doubt, he remembered her steady eyes. When he stood before the nation, he carried her courage. A courage she built inside him without ever raising her voice. Many wondered why he guarded her memory so closely, why he carried an unseen loyalty to a woman long gone. It was because she was the season that changed him. She was the chapter that rewrote his spirit. She was the gentle light that taught him how to walk through shadows. He grew older, but her wisdom stayed ageless. He rose higher, but her voice kept him grounded. He became a symbol for many, yet in his heart he remained her student. Learning still, remembering still, loving still, she had taught him the meaning of silence. Not the silence of fear, but the silence that speaks louder than noise. The silence where truth sits quietly, waiting to be understood. And he learned to walk with that silence, to sit with it, to let it guide him when the world felt too heavy. She had told him that destiny would test him, that every heart built for greatness must face storms. But storms do not break those who understand their own center. And she had helped him find that center. Deep calm unmoved by praise or judgment. Deep calm born from knowing himself. Sometimes late at night, he felt her presence in the empty halls. Not a ghost, not a memory, but a feeling, a warmth, a reminder that she once stood beside him, and that what she left inside him never truly left. He remembered her stories, of youth that passed like wind, of battles won and lost, of love that healed and love that hurt. She had lived a long life, a life with chapters marked by endurance and grace, and in her he had seen a mirror of what he wished to. The story reached the place where time itself slowed, where memory and destiny met in the quiet corridors of the heart. For the 60-year-old woman remained more than a chapter. She became a compass that pointed him toward his true north. Each step he took echoed with the lessons she planted in him, lessons wrapped in warmth and years and gentle strength. As Fazza stood before the vast horizon of his life, he understood something he could not grasp in his youth. That every soul who touches us deeply becomes part of our breath. That love does not vanish with distance or age. It simply settles inside us like a star that refuses to burn out. She had become that star, silent, steady, unfading. He walked through dawns that carried her scent, dunes glowing with golden light like the warmth of her stories. Evenings whispering her laughter, nights echoing her calm. She had shaped him, and though she was gone from his sight, she was never gone from his spirit. He remembered the last time he saw her. She looked at him with eyes filled with years and wisdom, eyes that held storms and sunsets, eyes that had lived through seasons he could only imagine. And she told him that he must carry on, that he must let his heart grow beyond the walls of the palace, that he must lead not with fear but with tenderness, that he must remain human even when crowned by the world. Those words became a foundation, a fortress built from her voice, a sanctuary he returned to when life felt overwhelming. He kept her guidance close, woven into every choice, every dream, every quiet act of kindness. And as the years passed, he found himself returning to the sea, the same place where they once walked side by side, where she taught him that love could be gentle, that connection could be silent, that souls could meet without needing possession. He watched the waves roll in and out, each wave reminding him of the flow of her presence, soft, consistent, infinite. Her memory became a story he carried with dignity, not spoken, not exposed, hidden in the chambers of his heart, protected from the curiosity of the world. For some stories are too sacred to be shared. Some bonds are too rare to be explained. Some loves exist only between two spirits, untouched by judgment, untouched by time. He found her again in the eyes of people he helped, in the smiles he lifted, in the hearts he healed. For everything she taught him flowed through him toward others. She became the root of his compassion, the source of his patience, the quiet force behind his gentleness. She lived through him, through the way he loved, the way he led, the way he wrote his poetry on the silent canvas of life. Sometimes he wished he could see her again, to thank her for the transformation she sparked, to tell her that he never forgot, to let her know that her lessons became the pillars of his soul. But he understood that not all reunions happen in this world. Some occur within the heart, where two spirits meet without being seen, where two memories embrace without needing form. So he carried her,